Hi guys, I'm in Baan Kang Wat Artist Village in Chiang Mai, Thailand. There will be 2 episodes filmed here, but in today's episode we'll look at Ned's art studio here called 1528 Studio. Ned is a watercolor illustrator featuring a lot of plants, and he has a beautiful garden here. I've decided to film here once I saw how passionate he is about botanical artistry. So in today's episode, I will try to interview him to get a story out of him, and we'll tour his amazing garden, and of course we'll look at his artwork. And for the next episode, we will look at the entire village that is adorned with beautiful ornamental plants and of course amazing artists and their studios.
สวัสดีครับชื่อธเนศ มณีศรีนะครับเป็นเจ้าของสตูดิโอ 15.28 สตูดิโอนะครับก็ที่สตูดิโอเนี่ยเราทำเกี่ยวกับสีน้ำนะครับงานเนี่ยจะเป็นลักษณะเป็นเหมือนเกี่ยวกับเรียลลิสติกครับทำเกี่ยวกับธรรมชาติครับผมแล้วก็สนใจเกี่ยวกับต้นไม้นะครับที่สตูดิโอก็จะมีการตกแต่งด้วยต้นไม้จำนวนมากครับผมจากคำถามที่ว่าทำไมถึงชอบวาดรูปนะครับจริงๆคือตั้งแต่เด็กแล้วเราเป็นคนชอบเขียนชอบทำอะไรที่มันเป็นเกี่ยวกับวาดรูปเนี่ยแหละครับแต่ตอนเด็กเราก็เหมือนเด็กทั่วไปที่ชอบการระบายออกหรือแสดงออกอะไรเงี้ยครับแต่พอโตขึ้นมาเนี่ยเรากลับรู้สึกว่ามันเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของชีวิตคือเห็นอะไรก็เป็นศิลปะก็เลยเลือกที่จะทำงานเกี่ยวกับศิลปะเกี่ยวกับการวาดรูปเนี่ยแหละครับสำหรับศิลปินที่ทำเกี่ยวกับสนใจเกี่ยวกับธรรมชาติหรือโบทานิกนะครับจริงๆสิ่งแรกที่ต้องมีเกี่ยวกับการทำงานประเภทนี้ก็คือการสังเกตครับและเข้าใจธรรมชาติของเขาว่าเขามีลักษณะยังไงเขามีความโค้งเว้ายังไงนะครับก็เลยสิ่งที่สำคัญคือการสังเกตครับแล้วก็คือเข้าใจครับผม
If you're a botanical artist, please comment down below with your socials so we can celebrate your work too. For the remainder of this episode, I will take you on a personal tour to look at his plant collection and amazing works of art.
Let's start the tour from all the way on the side of the shop, and there's some interesting succulents here, but what makes them really visually interesting is these like steel housings that really create a nice structure, a geometric shape to otherwise tame their very unruly growth habit here. And this is some kind of Hornia or Stapelia. I really need to get my succulent game on because I'm really inspired by this. This is what the flowers look like. And it's just so beautiful. This one is also looking stunning, like a coral from under the sea. And I mean, again, these housings, they really make quite a bit of a difference. And this is his garden as well, but let's not explore this area. It's a little bit overgrown here, but then I see some kind of a potting shed area in the back. And here you will start to see some interesting visual details. Now, this must be a bungalow in the past. We can see some of the old housing. I'm not sure if they're still in use. They look really abandoned, but they've really made use of all these railings, and there's a little steel staircase that comes down. It's quite interesting. I mean, this is a lot of like really rustic looking pots, and I'm digging this industrial, like old repurposed look. And then here, this is where the magic starts to happen. There's a hibiscus, Teleaceous variegata here. Very fast growing, very pest prone, but it is beautiful. And they do like to be in direct sunlight. This one seems to be living in full sun. Look at how beautiful their new leaves come out. I've not really seen these in bloom before, but they do bloom, I'm sure. It's an interesting cacti here. Feel free to shout out the names. I don't know the names for most of these cacti and succulents. And then there are all these interesting shapes of pots and bowls where they live. And again, I think this is another Hornia and Stapelia type. I really need to learn more about them because their trailing quality has been captivating me. And look at all these interesting pots and textures around. I quite like it. I mean, not all of them are thriving that well here. I'm guessing the artist do need to spend his time on his paintings and not really, be on top of the plant game here because there's a lot to care for. This bowl here is interesting. It's like a shallow dish, very, very shallow with a bit of root, and I see some succulents just like doing their thing here in this tray. If you watch my past Bangkok plant tour videos, you know that succulents here are incredibly inexpensive. You can get most of them for less than $1. So I think people here can really afford to use them as styling material and just to grow them. And there are many beds of begonias here. They look so lush and so healthy. I have a feeling that some of these begonias will be very good drawing material as well. These are actually getting a bit too much direct sunlight. As you can see, this is a little bit bleached. This is what happens when begonias get too much light, but they are still surviving. And it's so nice to see a bed of them here, greeting passerbys that come through here. This is also particularly interesting. It's got a velvety texture on the leaves, and this is one with a very red back. Oh man, this begonia on begonia action is just really wonderful. There's an Oxalis triangularis here that's getting a little bit tall. And look at this cat drawing here. We're gonna look at more paintings later on when we go inside. But this is what greets people when they pass by the stores. And based on my observation, most people do end up walking to the store. When you have something so captivating at the entrance like this, people will come in. There is a cool porch area here where people can kind of sit up, and there's a bit of a shade here. This is a Thermophyllum Xanadu. It's oftentimes mistaken for the Philodendron mayoi, but it's beautiful. This actually likes a bit of direct sunlight. It likes more light than the mayoi. Ficus triangularis, variegated. I struggle with mine. I don't know how to grow this. And I know that some of you guys do struggle with this too, so I don't know what's up with that. But this is a common plant used in landscaping. I just don't know why we haven't gotten it right. This is like the elephant bush or something in common name, and this is the variegated form of it. Very fun to propagate actually, and they are very, very unruly. They trail like this over a pot. They actually have a really interesting visual quality to it that I actually quite adore. Some interesting succulents here, and as you can see, this pot here, there's a little tiny plant, maybe a tree, but the way that it's placed within that cage is also quite nice. Most people would just place it in the middle, but this is like really, really interesting, effortless way to display it. And then of course, if you're philodendrons, this is called acacia mojito or something. They don't like to dry out. And then this is actually a variegated lime. I don't know if you can see, the fruits are variegated as well. They're quite common here. I see quite a lot of variegated lime around Thailand. Lime is commonly used in their culinary cooking as a main ingredient. So yeah, the Thai people have an interesting relationship with lime. Beautiful rabbit's foot fern, the Valia. And of course, we cannot forget about this beautiful platycerium. I don't know which one this is. Could be the one dye, but I'm going off on a long shot here. I don't really have my platycerium. Ooh, and when I look above, there's the Shadia here. And then this is a vanilla planifolia. Nice, and it's trailing. More platyceriums. It's a huge bush of peperomia. I want to say crucifolia, but it looks a bit different. Hang on, this is an obtusifolia. Sorry, an obtusifolia variegata. As you can see, a lot of the older leaves have reverted to green, but the new leaves still have some variegation. In my experience, they do like a little bit of direct sunlight, but they form such a beautiful clump here. This is a plant that really is hardy, both indoors and outdoors. Back here, you have an Epipremnum pinnatum variegata. Underrated plant, in my opinion. Beautiful variegation, extremely affordable. But I really want to show you this Pothos Enjoy or Epipremnum Enjoy. If you let it grow like this, it's trying to climb up a wall and then it didn't successfully latch on, so it's like hanging off on the side. And this one aerial root is just latched on to this bit of wall. How naughty is that? I love it when plants try to take over our living space in their own way. And there's a Monstera here with some peanut shells. I did ask him what the peanut shells are for, and apparently it is nutrients for this plant. That is something new. I did not know that peanut shells would be very good for that. And they make for interesting top dressing as well. And of course, very good dinner conversations. Monstera pinnati partita. Beautiful. They're quite common here in Thailand. I've also seen them used in cut flowers. Surprise, surprise. And it's a cool little garden area back here where people can kind of hang out and sit. There's not a lot of cool plants here, so I'm not going to spend too much time. But I really love these little corners where objects are thoughtfully placed here. We'll see more in next week's episode. There's a ficus larata here, trying to climb up and up. And it's actually bright in direct light. I think they actually do love a bit of direct sunlight. And this is a Philodendron Paraiso Verde. It's doing well here. Also, this is very, very shaded. Usually these guys, they like to be in very, very bright light. But they seem to be doing okay. But as you can see, the Patio here is a little bit elongated, which is going to suggest that it's a bit etiolated. And the leaf size hasn't really increased over time. So this plant actually would do better if you give it more light. But you know, sometimes we can't really choose our spaces. And for what it's worth, it looks beautiful here in this backs area. Now this is a cool little corner. So there's a Monstera, there's an Alocasia macrorrhiza variegata, and of course, some paintings back here, and you can see him working from this backspace here. There's a cool old window, and I really love old houses like this with original components and parts. And when you come in here, this is where the main retail area is. You see some of these pre-drawn leaves. They're actually very beautiful, and I really love this watercolor. And I want to remind you guys that watercolor is incredibly hard. One wrong move and you're done. You really have to control the moisture, you have to control the water and the ink. I've actually tried, naively, I really tried to give it a go, but seriously, it is very difficult. And in between the paintings, you do need to wait for your parts to dry up before you can add layers of paint over it. So it takes a lot of patience to do watercolor. And I admire people who do that. So sometimes, you know, you gotta give it a try to do something so you can fully appreciate how other people do the same thing. Beautiful. This is amazing. And look at that. In photography, we call it bokeh, which is the blurred background. Beautiful on that painting. Anthurium crystallinum. And then here you have the caladium. And look at this beautiful, don't know what plant this is, but the colors are very, very matched with a bit of pink here. So, you know, there's a little bit of effort here in styling, which I really adore. And look at all these beautiful cutouts, paintings here. So these are actually, they look very three-dimensional, but they're basically just cutouts placed in glass. Now, when we come to Thailand, it's difficult for us to bring back plants, but it is actually very easy for us to bring back paintings of plants, especially these days when we're traveling more and more. It is okay to bring back paintings instead of bringing back plants, which we struggle to keep alive. Beautiful Monstera deliciosa. And I want to spend some time here. These are masterpieces. Look at all these. And if I show you up close, the details are excruciatingly painted on this. And look at these as well. My gosh. These take skill and experience and passion to pull off. And this hydrangea is also very, very beautiful. But what I'm really, really impressed by is actually this painting. There is a larger one in the back, but this is actually banana. Very, very simple. But normally people would paint healthy banana leaves. But look at how crazy it is that there's all life stages of the banana is represented here. You know, the dead parts and then the fresh green parts. And look at all the shapes and all the complicated colors on this. This is very difficult to paint. And it takes, you know, a lot of, not just effort, but it takes some imagination to do something like this. Most paintings that we see would be just fresh green banana leaves that are glossy, but this is the next level. And then over here, you have some corgi action here with a bit of a Piper ornatum, if I'm not wrong. Beautiful contrast of color with the paintings. Everything is put together here beautifully. And when you turn your back around, you've got these postcards that are maybe a bit more affordable that you could bring home. Some more drawings here. and Alocasia, macrorrhiza, variegata. They actually are spider mite magnets, but once you can get by the pest problems, they're actually fast growing, beautiful. And look at that, they take up the space so well. And of course, there are a lot of interesting propagations happening here. For these, I think the leaves just drop here and then they can just propagate themselves. So that's what's happening here. I see a caladium with a new leaf coming out. And look at this kitty cat. Oh my gosh. Hello. This is so beautiful. And a lot of succulents back here as well. Pardon the noise in the background. There's a lot happening in the shop, actually, that is beyond my control. But the tour must go on. And this is also a beautiful caladium. Look at this. Imagine like this in a painting like that. Oh man. Down here, we've got a lot of succulents. I believe these are Haworthias. Interesting. This is in a deep shade. I thought that these guys might like a bit more light, but they seem to do well here. These ones, the one with the looking glass, they cannot do too much light because these translucent surfaces, they actually let light through and into the plant. If you give them direct full sun, they will burn up really fast. And look at this really interesting begonia cuttings. More of that, please. And then this cool cupboard in the back. This is so visually pleasing. I guess it is worth mentioning that you could order custom, so you can send your photo over and Ned here, he can draw it for you. So a painting like this, at this size, look at how intricate that is. Was drawn from a photo and it took about 2 weeks to draw something this size. So Ned here, if you send him photos, he can actually draw any kind of drawing, whether it's botanical drawing or even human portrait painting.
ท้ายที่สุดนะครับก็ขอบคุณนักท่องเที่ยวทุกท่านนะครับและท่านที่ชอบผลงานสีน้ำของผมนะครับแล้วก็สนใจเกี่ยวกับงานคราฟต์งานเวิร์กช็อปหรืองาน DIY เนี่ยก็เรียนเชิญได้ที่บ้านข้างวัดนะครับยังไงเรามีกิจกรรมมากมายให้ทุกคนได้ทำกันเยอะแยะเลยนะครับขอบคุณทุกคนนะครับที่มาเยี่ยมเยียนที่บ้านนะครับโอกาสหน้าไงก็แวะมาอีกนะครับขอบคุณครับ
Thank you, Ned, for sharing your experience and your amazing garden and studio. I will see you in the next episode where we explore the entire artist village, where there's a lot of interesting artists and amazing plants.
Thank you, Patreon members, for supporting the channel. Should you consider joining as a member, the Patreon link is Sean from Only Plants. It can also be found in this video description. I've started producing bonus contents for members. These include plant hauls, plant shopping, and mini bite-sized adventures. The same bonus contents will also be unlocked for you if you join to become a YouTube member of the channel. There is a monthly membership fee as small as a cup of coffee a month. Simply go to Only Plants channel page and click join. Your contributions help me grow the channel, do better content, and have a better quality of life. For that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.